Hello and welcome back to another video with some practice problems for the ACT English section. This one's going to be covering apostrophes and all of the related types of questions you might see, mostly focused then on contractions and possession. As always, if you find the video helpful, leave a like, subscribe, comment with what you'd like to see more of or any questions you might have or something that you might have suggestions on how to format these if you think there's something that would be helpful. But let's get right to it. Quick little intro first. If you haven't already seen my video on ACT English Concepts 1, go watch that at least up until I get to conciseness. This video covers all the concepts for the apostrophes and these practice problems here. After I hit conciseness, everything in that part of the concepts video will be in a different problem for practice problems. There's just too many concepts in there to fit all in one practice problem video. The way this is going to work is I'm going to have 10 questions. I'm first going to quickly flip through them all, so pause the video at each one, so that way you can write down your questions and then write down your answers. That way you can try them all out yourself first before I go over it, because the practice is very important. It's the whole point of these videos. Alternatively, if you'd rather just kind of go one at a time and have me explain it as you go, you can use the timestamps at the bottom to go to my answers portion. You'll have a second or two to pause it, and then I'll move on and show the answer. So if you do it that way, just make sure that you are quick enough with your pause that you don't let it get to the answer first. Last reminder is that in 2025, which is when I'm making this video, there are some changes being introduced to the ACT. I do have a different video on that in my playlist for the English section, so go watch that. But the main thing you need to know if you are either testing before or after, it might look a little differently. Also, it might be where you're using older material that don't have these changes as practice problems, but you're going to be taking it the other way. So what's the difference for these? Well, for anything before those changes, there's not going to be any question at all with these types of problems. You're just going to have an underlined portion of the text and then 4 answer choices that would replace that underlined section. If it's after the 2025 changes, it's going to be the exact same thing. There's just going to be one extra actual question before your answers, saying something along the lines of which choice makes the sentence most grammatically acceptable. And then you'll have your 4 answer choices. So nothing really changes. It's just going to look a little different, and I want to make sure that you understand that. So here's problem 1. Go ahead and pause. Look for this underlined part. The answer choice is going to replace the part that is underlined. Here's problem 2. Here's problem 3. Here's problem 4. Problem 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, so now let's start going over these. So here's problem 1. The answer to this one is C. The reason for it, there's not actually any possession here. No one is owning the time. What we're trying to put in this sentence is it is time. So this is a contraction where the apostrophe is replacing the missing letters of just pushing 2 words together. Now notice answer choice D also has the apostrophe in the right place, but it introduced this additional unnecessary comma. So just make sure that they don't change anything else in your answer choices. Don't just immediately see what looks right because the apostrophe is in the right spot. Okay, problem 2. The answer here is A, no change. The reason being, this time we do have possession. John owns this backpack. And John is singular. I'm not talking about several Johns here. So if it's a singular noun, you put the apostrophe before the S to introduce or to indicate possession. Problem 3. The answer on this one is C. That's because, again, we have possession. But the difference in the previous one where I had just one John, here I have several artists who owned these paintings. And I know this because they said we're combining everybody's paintings. So that's several people that we're talking about into one sale. So I'm talking about all of those artists' paintings being sold for a high price. So if I have a plural, so multiple artists, then to get possession, we put the apostrophe after the S instead of in front of it. So that's why B is wrong. Now, you sometimes might also see like S apostrophe S. that's not going to be correct either. And notice here they just put it in a nonsensical place. So now let's go to problem 4. This answer is going to be D. So I really wanted to make sure I put at least one of these in here. As I put in my concepts video, never choose should of, would of, or could of. It's a very common trick answer that the ACT likes to put, because if you read the contraction here, should have, when you're just talking, that sounds like should of. So you will often see when this is the right answer, should of will be an incorrect answer. What should have actually means is should have. This is close, but they put the apostrophe in the wrong spot. Remember, if I have a contraction mashing two words together, the apostrophe goes where the missing letters are. So I'm missing the HA in should have, so I need it here before the V, not after the V. Problem 5. Answer to this one is no change. So this time it's a little trickier, because I do have possession. It is a playground belonging, or it is for, the children. But this is a group word, so yes, I am talking about multiple kids, so you might think to go with C. But if you have a word that indicates a single group, so children is one group. Same thing with something like people. Well, that's talking about several different persons. People is a group word for one group. So I'm still going to use the rule for a singular word and put the apostrophe before the S. It's not very common, but it can be a little tricky when you see that. Going now to problem 6. This answer is going to be, again, no change. Here I do have possession. The dog, this is his tail, so he owns it. But for all the different itses that they like to test, we have to put no apostrophe for possession, because if a contraction word or version of a word exists, like this, it's with an apostrophe here, that is a word. Well, in that case, you're going to use no apostrophe for possession, whereas if there is no contraction version, that's where the apostrophe is used for possession. Now, the reason that I don't go with this is this means it is. The other one I want to point out here is B here. This is almost always going to be an answer choice. It will never be right. That is not actually a thing. Going now to problem 7. Answer on this one is D. We don't have possession here. What we're looking for is the contraction for they are. I don't know if they are ready for the presentation. So in this case, the difference between no change and D is where that apostrophe is. Remember, contraction, the apostrophe goes where the missing letters are. I'm missing the A in they are. That then means I need the apostrophe between the Y and the R. Like this, not like this. Going now to problem 8. Another there question. This time, the answer is going to be C. Again, there's not any possession, but I'm not looking for they are either. I'm referring to a location. It's going over there by the entrance. So in this case, it's more of a vocab thing. There is the version that we're looking for. T-H-E-R-E. Problem 9. I think this is my last one of the there problems. This time, the answer is going to be B. Now I do have possession. This is the homework that belongs to the students. The possession form of this word is T-H-E-I-R. That's the one you need for possession. Okay, so now for the last problem, number 10. The answer to this one is A. I wanted to make sure I put one in like this because you will see these on the ACT too, where you're very carefully looking for, oh, where does the apostrophe go? Is there possession? Well, in this case, I don't have possession or anything. It's just a plural word. I'm just talking about multiple employees going home. So in that case, I don't need an apostrophe. So just be careful for those. They might throw them in there every now and then to see if you're not paying attention. So that's going to be it for this video. Good luck, and I'll see you on the next one.